Ethan Rourke had never been anyone's son. 32 years old, foster-raised. No baby photos, no stories of lullabies. Just a sealed manila envelope that said, "You were abandoned." He lived quietly in Philadelphia, designing video game environments, horror ones, because the only monsters he understood were the ones you could script. Then a letter arrived, handwritten, no return address. "Ethan, I am Samuel Rourke. I am your father, and I am no longer alive. You have inherited my home in Black Hollow, Pennsylvania. The key is under the front brick step. The house is yours, but never, never open the basement. That is not a warning. It's a plea." He laughed it off at first. Another scam, maybe. But something in the way the R curved matched a strange dream he had as a child. A man whispering his name in a cold, black room.
Black Hollow looked like a memory no one wanted. A town made of rot and fog. Churches without congregations. A bar called the End of the Road. The house? A giant Victorian carcass. Sinking porch, windowless eyes. Vines clung to it like restraints. Inside, the air was still, as if even time had stopped breathing. Ethan explored cautiously. The house was too intact. Furniture was covered but untouched. A record player stood mid-spin, needle lifted as if paused mid-song decades ago. Then he found the first mirror. Tall, antique, uncracked. In the reflection, a boy stood behind him. He turned, empty hallway. That night he dreamed of a door slamming shut, 6 iron padlocks clanking into place. Something whispered, "You are not the first son." The basement door was real. It stood at the end of the hall, sealed with 6 padlocks, each rusted into place. Someone had carved something into the wood. Burial is the gift you give to silence. The first night, Ethan heard knocking behind it, rhythmic, like a heartbeat made of wood. The next morning, 1 padlock opened. He found a cassette player in the study. Next to it, several tapes marked ER, 1992 to 1996. Home recordings. But he was born in 1993. The first tape played a crying baby. A man's voice whispered, "He's too loud. The house will hear. Shh, boy, shh." On the second tape, that same voice screamed, "The basement is not a place, it's a mouth." That night, a second lock opened itself. Ethan began drawing the layout of the house to keep his sanity, but every morning it changed. New rooms, new corridors, a nursery that shouldn't exist, complete with a name on the crib. Ethan Rourke.
By now, Ethan couldn't trust his own reflection. Mirrors showed him watching himself sleep, cooking food he hadn't touched, smiling too wide, too long. Reflections continued moving even after he walked away. The 5th padlock broke on a night when he watched an old family VHS in the attic. The tape showed a birthday party. A woman, beautiful, haunted, hands a cake to a toddler. "Say happy birthday to Ethan," she says. But the boy in the video isn't him. And in the corner of the frame, a mirror shows Ethan, adult Ethan, watching from the attic. His heart froze.
The VHS was dated 1995. That night, he stared at the basement door as the sixth padlock clicked open and fell to the floor like a tooth. Ethan descended into the darkness. It wasn't a basement. It was a catacomb, an impossible space, hundreds of feet below ground. The walls were covered in hundreds of mirrors, all angled toward the center of the room. And in the middle stood a wooden coffin, already open, already waiting. On the wall above it, etched in claw marks, "One of us must leave." He looked into a mirror and saw himself inside the coffin, eyes open, mouth stitched, screaming silently. Then he heard a second voice. "You were born here, buried here, you never left." Behind him stood another Ethan, grinning, bleeding from the eyes. He wore Ethan's exact clothes from the day he arrived. "You left the door open. Now I can go." Ethan tried to scream, but no air came. His mouth moved, but nothing escaped. The last thing he saw was his own body walking upstairs free, as he was sealed inside the mirror forever.
Weeks later, the house went up for auction. A young family bought it for cheap. When they entered the foyer, they found a sealed envelope on the floor. "Welcome home. The key is under the front brick. The house is yours now. Just one rule: never open the basement. Ethan Rourke." As they smiled and explored their new home, the basement door creaked, and far below, in the dark, a mirror cracked.